continue to pursue your dreams. Your dreams don't have an expiration date.
I know you love this country, and
Yes.
there's no other country anywhere in the world like the United States. Not one. They're similar, but not the United States, where anyone can come from being a nothing, from being a peasant to being dirt poor,
Right,
to becoming an Oprah Winfrey. My dream
That's right.
someday that I get Doug Williams, who was the Super Bowl MVP for the Washington Redskins, and James
watch the football team. Right.
on my channel someday.
Well, you know what? I may make that happen for you.
You know, if we can learn to channel that to take us where we need to go in life with such commitments to go along.
Right.
Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're with me here today because you're in for a treat. You are about to learn something that may just change your life forever. The person I have with me here today, her name is Gwendolyn Tabb Spivey. I knew her as Gwen Tabb. And she's going to bring you some information today that if you're undecided on what you want to do with your life, you need to stay tuned to this channel because it's going to be just that important that you do so. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Spivey. She graduated in 1975 from the great city of Monroe, Louisiana, from the greatest institution in the world of high school, Wasman. She was a cheerleader there, but she was more than just that. She was one of the most famous people on campus and a true athlete. I want you guys to also understand, just because you're a cheerleader, you have to understand there's a lot of hard work, involved in that. They work out diligently every day and, of course, help the team win. Wow. And not just that, Gwen Tabb Spivey, and I'm just going to call her Gwen for simplicity. She also graduated from Louisiana Tech University in Ruston, Louisiana, and did it in 3 years. 3 years. You're talking about a dedicated student. Also, she pledged Delta Sigma Data. And I hope I got that correct, but she will correct me in just a moment. And also she received her MBA in Human Resources Management, but she didn't stop there. The true champion that she is, because she had a dream and she had a drive and she had that encouragement behind her in the form of her parents. She worked at the Shreveport Times as a staff writer and a reporter in Shreveport, Louisiana. And she's much more than that now. She's involved in human resources. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about that as we go on. Right now, please welcome my guest, Gwen Spivey. Welcome, Gwen.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It sure is a pleasure having you, Gwen. And to see us at this point and stage of our lives, we're still kicking.
We're still kicking. We're still kicking 40 years later. That's a long time.
Yes, it is. But not just that, thinking about the production along the way and the many lives that you have touched in this on this journey involving our lives.
And so have you. I can't think of how many people's lives both you and I have touched in the area, me in the area of human resources and you in the area of criminal justice. But, it's been for the best. I can't believe how many lives I have touched and enhanced for the better.
Definitely. But tell me this, Gwen. Now, you pledged, okay? Make sure I did get the right one correct.
Yes, Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated.
Okay. And what is your chant?
We have several. So when you hear us say, ooh, ooh, you know that we're there. red, red and white, crimson and cream. Those are our colors.
Well, tell me this, what prompted you to pledge?
I was prompted to pledge. I don't know if you remember Coach Curtis Armand's wife, Gloria Armand. She was a teacher, taught at Carver Elementary. Um, both were my godparents, and Miss Almond was like a mentor to me. Not only was she my godmother, but she lived on Dillon Street. I grew up on Dillon Street in Roosevelt Heights, or Brown's Edition. Bryant's Edition. We called it Brown's Edition back then. But she kind of took me under her wings. I became a Dell Sprite, and I was a debutante, and she made sure that my mom bought my dress, and she took my dress and she hand sewed these pearls on my dress because she wanted to enhance my dress and make it look a little bit more elegant than it already was. But it was some of the things that she did, and some of the other deltas, such as Augustine Moorhead. Remember Miss Moorhead taught us at Jefferson.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. My cousin, Doris Jean Welch, was Miss AKA of Monroe, Louisiana. And she told me, she said, before you write that letter to join Delta Sigma Theta, you need to come see me. But I didn't because I knew, based on the interactions I had had with Gloria Armand, and seeing that lady and the grace and the elegance and the poise that she had, and the way she carried herself, and the other deltas, Nora Bingaman, Rotina Russell, some of the other deltas that I saw along the way, they just made a difference in my life. And I knew I wanted to pledge Delta Sigma Theta when I got to Louisiana Tech. And those ladies are some of the reasons I pledged Delta Sigma Theta.
You know, the short time that I was at Louisiana Tech, I considered pledging the Omegas until I saw Death Walk. When I saw
saw that Death Walk. I know if you get past that Death Walk, you know you've pledged.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. And see, for us, back when I pledged spring of 1976, it wasn't easy. We pledged 7 to 8 long weeks. And we did some things that, you knew you were pledging. You were really pledging. You knew you really wanted that if some of the things that we had to do. And we learned the material, and we knew, this is what we wanted. And we learned the true meaning of sisterhood, so that if you see another Delta in another city, you knew the true meaning of sisterhood. It was no stabbing each other in the back. It was true sisterhood.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, for those of you for the first time watching this channel is about uplifting. It's about encouraging, giving you material in the form of real people to let you know that if they've achieved something in life, that you can do it too. No matter where you are, what your status is, what your background, or where you come from, it does not matter. So that's the purpose of this. And also, if you like the information that's being shared with you on this channel, please press the subscribe button and the notification bell. And that way, any new content that is uploaded to this channel, you'll be the first to be notified. Now, Gwen, let me ask you this. Did you have any dreams in life growing up? And did you achieve those dreams? Tell me about your flight to where you are today.
Yes. So one of the things that I hoped to be was a news reporter. My mom and grandmother thought otherwise, because both of them were nurses. So they thought I was going to be a nurse. But I used to sit in Jacqueline Simmons' homeroom at Wassman and read her paper. I used to watch the news all the time. I wanted to be a news reporter, but more than that, I wanted to have my own talk show. So before Oprah Winfrey came along, before she was even heard of, my goal was to have my own talk show because I was a big fan of Phil Donahue and Sally Jesse Raphael. So that's one of the reasons I majored in journalism. I don't know if you remember, Robert, but I was the editor of our high school newspaper as well. So I went on to major in journalism at Louisiana Tech. My first job was as a news reporter, staff writer at Shreveport Times in Shreveport, Louisiana. But my goal was to one day have my own talk show, but I didn't pursue that dream. Things changed and I became a human resource professional.
Well, but you were on the path there because
Yes.
you were a staff writer and a reporter at, Shreveport Times.
Yes.
So you were in that direction, you were headed that way.
I was headed that way.
But,
yes.
But now, of course, you're in human resources. And the thing about it is you have your MBA.
Yes, I have my MBA in human resource management.
And where did you obtain it from?
University of Phoenix.
University of Phoenix. That's all.
Yes, University of Phoenix. I obtained my MBA in 2006. And one of the reasons I decided to get my MBA is because just to validate my experience. I started working in human resources in 1979. Again, it was known then as personnel, and eventually it became known as human resources. So I work in all areas of human resources. You have areas of human resources that's compensation, benefits, recruiting. Robert, I was a product of a single parent. And for that reason, I always wanted to make my mom proud. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to be successful, because I wanted to show that just by being the product of a single parent, you could be successful.
Yes.
So I always wanted to make my mom proud.
And Gwen, I too am a product of a single parent. And that did not stop us in our tracks like it does so many people along the way. So for those
Right.
of you that come from single parent homes, also know
no excuse.
None. It's going to
None whatsoever.
It's going to take a commitment. But if you listen to what's been said here today, you have something, a guide to go by.
That's correct.
No quit, commit, and you shall achieve.
That's right. You can work in.
And also to let everyone know, she has a famous uncle. Would you care to tell everybody who he is?
My famous uncle was the first Black quarterback to start in modern day NFL, James Shaq Harris. He was drafted. He played football at Grambling, Black quarterback. He was drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 1969, went on to play for the Buffalo Bills. And then he went to play for the LA Rams. He was successful with the LA Rams. He was the most valuable player at the 1975 Pro Bowl, retired with the San Diego Chargers. And then he didn't stop there. When he retired as a professional player, he was one of the first African Americans to work in the NFL front office as a vice president of personnel in the NFL.
Wow. I remember when, Shaq was playing with the Los Angeles Rams, and, he was like our hero.
Yes.
He really was.
He really is.
Because you have to look at it back in the, we're talking late 60s and the 70s. And I knew I watched on ESPN several years ago. And I think it was like 30 for 30. They were talking about Bob Love and Southern and some other things. And they talked about the 1970s was the era of the great migration of the Black athlete.
Right.
that's when you had a whole lot of schools start all of a sudden now that didn't have any black players started going out and getting black athletes. But when I would look on television and see, Shaq, then we would say, hey, he's from Monroe. But even more so, he was your uncle.
He was my uncle. You know what the running joke is with me and him now? He'll say, people will come up to him and say, you're Gwen's uncle. You're Gwen's uncle. So he and I talk, he and I talk just about every day because of our age difference. He's always been like a big brother to me. So he'll say, everywhere I go, people ask me or say, you're Gwen's uncle. He said, don't you know you're famous? I said, yeah, it used to be you were my uncle. You were my uncle. Now I say it's reversed. The roles have reversed. People know you because of me.
Isn't that funny? That's amazing.
It is amazing.
The times have changed, but he was an inspiration for so many and gave all of us the hope and belief that we can achieve.
And still is. He's still working to, I don't know if you know, but he and Doug Williams have several foundations, and they've started the Black College Football Hall of Fame. There were a lot of football players who were not going into the College Football Hall of Fame who were good. So they started the Black College Football Hall of Fame because there were a lot of football players who played college football who were good, but we're not going into the regular Football Hall of Fame. So they have a ceremony every year over here in Atlanta where they have a committee and they vote on who goes into that Black College Football Hall of Fame.
Wow, that would be pretty steep, because I know when I was watching the sports many years back, and they talked about, Grambling State University had produced more professional football players than any college in the country up to the 1980s.
Yes.
So that can be a huge, very long list.
Yeah, and you still have some of Grambling players who are not in there,
Gwen, let me ask you something.
Yes.
There are people all around this country and around the world. And what we're doing here today, it's going to last when we're no longer on this planet. The words, what we say, is going to give someone hope. It's going to inspire someone on this journey of life to give them the belief that they can achieve something in their lives. So what words would you have for America that can make a difference in someone's life?
I would just say to continue to pursue your dream. Whatever your dreams are, continue to pursue your dreams. Your dreams don't have an expiration date. So to continue to pursue whatever your dreams are.
So true. I have a lot of motivational books and a lot of motivational tapes. I've gotten over 300 motivational, inspirational tapes. And, from some of the biggest names in the world, Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, Les Brown, who was Gladys Knight, matter of fact, at one point.
Yes,
I don't know if they're still
right. I have some of his books too.
But the thing is, in having this material, and I love these little quotes. And I think it was an Earl Nightingale, one of his tapes talked about, we become what we think about. And then I think there was another one I read, I forgot who it was from, but they said the mind is like a muscle. It has a real function. And we don't think of our mind in such a sense, how it can, if we can learn to channel that to take us where we need to go in life with such commitments to go along.
Right.
Gwendolyn Tabb Spivey, it is my hope, my dream someday that I get Doug Williams, who was the Super Bowl MVP for the Washington Redskins, and James
Washington football team,
on my channel someday.
Well, you know what? I may make that happen for you.
Okay. Well, keep in
You
mind
know,
what you just said. You're on film saying it.
that's right, because I know them well.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to give you the final word. What is ever you that's on your heart, whatever you want to say, whoever you want to address it to, it's your time. Go.
well, well,
Miss Spivey.
I just want to say, we're our country is so divided today, and we have to come together as people and realize that we all have to work together. You know, we may be different nationalities, different races, different uh, genders, but in the end, we have to all work together to make this world as one. And we need to stop the divisiveness and come together as one and work together to make this world a better place. I know we've heard this year after year after year. And then sometimes, Robert, I think back to 1973 when we had that riot
Yes, major.
on our campus. And it reminds me that we're back during those times. We all have to come together, and we have to come together as a Black race. When we come together as a Black race, we can do so many things together. We've got to stop working against one another and come together.
Yes.
We've got to.
You've heard it there. America, we have to come together.
We've got to.
It's never, what you said back in 1973 when we had that riot at our high school. To me, it was like war.
Yes.
So can you imagine people sitting there, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade child off to war?
We had to be searched.
Yes.
Every day we came on campus, we had police on campus
Yes.
every day for, I know, several months at a time.
And here we are at a time during the COVID-19 time where we have grown tremendously.
Yes.
Country. But all of a sudden during this COVID time, we've been hit with some things, and it all starts at the top.
Yes.
And how it has affected this country like a cancer now. And there are a lot of good people, no matter what race we are, there are good people across the board everywhere. And we need to come together to stop this madness, what's going on in this country.
We do.
I love this country. I know you love this country. And there's no other country anywhere in the world like the United States. Not one. They're similar, but not the United States, where anyone can come from being a nothing, from being a peasant to being dirt poor.
Right.
To becoming an Oprah Winfrey.
That's right.
Gwen Tabb, correction, Gwen Spivey. You had that dream.
That's right.
And you're still living a dream. In the metropolitan area of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution to society. Thank you for your contribution to this country. Thank you.
You're so very welcome.
Thank you.